point that we get to know about Krishna and yourself as a soul. But that's a very remote, because at a certain point, to know about Krishna and soul as Atma, it comes on theoretical level. So the next question starts, when does your journey to Krishna begin? To know about your self as a soul and Krishna as a God is a very positive news. But we know that Krishna consciousness, in the real true sense, the process of claiming mountain begins from negative part. So, I'll give you a very simple example, you understand. If somebody wants to claim Everest, first you get to know about Everest as a very positive news. To him, Everest as a mountain becomes something very theoretical. It's very easy to claim mountain when you're sitting in a very comfortable office and looking on your monitor. Everybody can understand what I say? So when you look at the monitor of great mountain as Everest, as a picture, it sounds pretty impressive. But when you start moving from the mountain, when you start moving towards mountain, then you have totally different realizations. Then you understand, oh, before I have to come to mountain, I really have to... Before I claim this mountain, I have to do many, many things. Like, you know, getting a good company, that's number one. Because I know I can't go alone too. Then I have to find out more about this mountain. I have to get money to buy a ticket, to buy the equipment. I have to be qualified to join. And actually, it's an interesting thing. When you're going to Everest, they charge about $20,000 to claim Everest. And you say, why is it so expensive to claim Everest? There's such a high money have to be paid. And they will tell you why. But they'll tell you because it includes your funeral fee, etc. Because you might not going to make it. So we calculate all possibilities of you claiming mountain in a very, very dangerous way. So then you start realizing, so is that mountain so high? That means like I may not be able to make it. Yes. And definitely you're not going to make it alone. Definitely you're not going to make it without good equipment. Definitely you're not going to make it one time. So when you start thinking about Krishna as a concept of God, first it becomes Krishna on your screen of your computer, and then you say, well, it's kind of like, I thought he's all attractive, but you know, he's kind of okay. But then you start thinking, okay, well, I accept that he's all attractive, not for me, but you know, his Indian dress, but it's kind of like something attractive to me. You start thinking about Krishna, but still Krishna is a monitor of your computer. But then the question comes, when do you really see Krishna face to face? How this spiritual journey will take? Then you can understand, you can't come to Krishna at one stage. So when you start reading books about great yogis and rishis, you'll understand that they spent lives and many hundreds of years just to realize certain spiritual things like Paramatma realization. But interestingly, Srila Sridhar Maharaj has explained, when the point comes about Bhakti Yoga, means direct relation with Krishna, being great yogi and great realized spiritual soul, it doesn't give you so much benefit. I was very impressed. You know, how come is that? Because you can achieve certain level, and definitely it's good for you. But he gave a very interesting example. He said, when somebody graduates high education and somebody graduates common education, then let's say he wants to go to medical school. You go in there with the same student, somebody from ordinary education, somebody from high education. You may say, well, before my education is engineer, but to become a doctor, still you have to go to the same exact procedure. So when he say the great rishis and yogis, as they go in towards Krishna consciousness directly, they don't have any high realizations because everything, meditation, mind control, jnana, it definitely will help them on a particular level, but when it comes to bhakti, the devotion, and direct service to Krishna, it's not, it's actually, it can be obstacle. So think of this thing. So many qualifications will not make you come to Krishna consciousness. Then you can understand, I cannot come to Krishna consciousness at once. So where would be the beginning of my journey? So somebody say, oh, beginning of the journey from the moment I found out in Shanghai that the Chiang Mai exist. That's good. But in the spiritual life between soul and God, there were many millions of lives and many millions of decisions which you already made before you came to Krishna consciousness. Then somebody say, "Hey, Rupiya Pramani Pramite Kon Bhagavan Shiv Guru Krishna Prashadi Bhai Bhakti Lapish." Actually, the real beginning of my spiritual life, beginning from point of meeting Guru. But actually, that's kind of like a half-truth. Because it says in scriptures, meeting the Guru and follow Guru, it's totally different things. I was really amazed in China. I met some Gurudev disciples, and I asked, so, like, you chant that? They say, oh, no, we don't do that. I say, well, that means you really met Guru, but you didn't came to realize what he gave you. He didn't came to that practice. So you can understand what Guru gives you is such a high, high package that you may not be able to realize on a particular stage of your life. So then you can say, well, by meeting Guru, it doesn't give necessarily that you really start your journey to Krishna. Then you say, so when this journey begins? So interestingly, very interestingly, because that's like question to me. So where do I begin my spiritual life? Did I begin yet, or maybe I didn't begin? And interestingly, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he has the answer for that. It's actually answered by Krishna himself. He say, the beginning of spiritual journey, real spiritual journey, beginning your internal commitment to surrender to Krishna, which is called Sharanagati. And what is Sharanagati? It means internally you're telling yourself, no matter what obligations in this world, if I feel that I surrender to you, I'm yours. And that could be actually before you met Guru, after you met Guru, or in result of your spiritual life. But the real beginning of spiritual life is when you have internal decision to approach Krishna. But there's actually another interesting point which really bugs my consciousness, because I'm thinking about myself. Did I ever begin my spiritual life, or I'm just in kind of dress trying stage? Because when you go to shop, you say, oh, what is this? Oh, this is a car towel. You can do like this. Oh, good. How much? 200 rupees. Okay, I give you 150. It's okay. I'm thinking, maybe I need it. And what is this? Well, this is very nice saffron dress. Really? If you dress like this, girls like you more. Really? Well, then I should get one. Can I buy one? 1,000 rupees. So do you understand? On the way to spiritual life, you acquire particular things which you think might need for your spiritual life. But interestingly, what the Guru Maharaj explains, he say that it only begins from the negative stage. The positive begins from negative stage. You understand the Lavati with positive and negative? What is that?
Good and bad. Good.
No, Krishna is good. What he like? Krishna is positive. What does Krishna like?
That's fine. Krishna has a festival.
Festival. yeah, okay, I don't know, it's hard for me to say. But Krishna is positive. So technically speaking, he got attraction by negative. Positive cannot attract positive. Positive can be only attracted by negative. So what does it mean that Krishna, as being positive, he attracts negative by negative? Well, in this case, negativity means devotee. Like, I was very interested in China, because China is like always so many great realizations to me. Because I say something in China, like, I say, well, you know, you think you're happy in the material world? They say, yes. I say, well, what makes you think you're happy? They say, look at this, like, you know, we got a job, we got a business, I'm delivering this in 5 months, I have some R&D in my cart, I have my apartment, I have my car. And if you say to somebody, well, that's not really make you happier, but somebody can tell you in China 20 years back, we had no cars, no good buildings, nothing. So compared to 20 years back, now I'm like a human being in China. So is Russia. You know, I can move, I can travel, I can eat food I want to eat. I have a quite positive life. So what are you offering to me? So to this kind of person, it's very hard to offer something because say like, you are suffering. Why? I'm not suffering. You are suffering. You try to make me feel miserable. So then I say, okay, well, I understand your point. Everything comes from comparison. Let's say you have a great, wonderful life in China, but I have one little bad news for you. And that little bad news, you have to die. You know, it means like, whatever you'll be acquiring, whatever you will earn, no matter how great and beautiful you will be, you're meant to die in this world, as you are. And everything will die with you. Then you say, well, that's like a negative news. I say, well, this is the beginning of the spiritual life. Because only negative attract positive. So once you think, oh my God, I have to die. That's like, I'm telling to people, I had this realization when I was 6 years old, younger than Jimuna-san. One day I went to the garbage place, you know, Pomoyka in Russia, and the garbage place, for some reason, I like to extol the garbage place because they would, you know, we had like nice buildings, and the garbage place was very rich with different interesting things. So I like to go there as a child, and you know, like I was attracted to it. So, and this time, garbage gave me such a great, to me, garbage at that time was like an ocean of interesting things. Broken toys, broken things. So I went to the garbage and like search, and I found a book. And that was a school book of a 6th level when they start archaeology. Archaeological, you know, was history and archaeology. So in that history and archaeology book, there was one page which say funeral grounds of ancient human beings. You understand what is funeral ground of ancient human beings? So I was at that time 6 years old, before younger than Jimuna-san, and with that book, which I found, I think it's really cool because it's a 6th level, and I only learned how to read at that time. I knew how to read before school. And I could like, I thought it was kind of like super advanced books. It's 6 years advanced, like double what I read. So I went to my babysitter, like kind of like, she was a sister of my mother. And I said to her, read to me this book. And she opened up and she started reading. This is the funeral ground of ancient people, blah, 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 blah. You know, and so I said, what does it mean? Explain to me. Oh, she said, very simple, like people die, and that's their funeral ground. This news struck me as like thunderbolt. And I asked you, like, what? It's the first time when I heard in my This was like such a deep realization for me. At 6 years old, I could not believe. Then I went to my mother with this book and I said, "Is that true that we all have to die?" She said, "Yes, but it's not." She said, like, "Don't worry, it's not going to happen tomorrow." So I said, "So when is going to happen?" She said, "You know, 100 years, 80 years, 70 people have a long life. You're only 6 years old." But my realization was like, you're telling me in 70 or 80 years old, I have to die? And she said, "Yes." And I asked my mother, I said, "You also have to die?" She said, "Yes." I said, "My father also have to die?" She said, "Yes." I said, "My brother have to die?" She said, "Yes." So I understood at that point, we all have to die. And I was fearlessly crying, like, I cried intensively for all evening. And she thought, "Oh, it's very good, you know, my child got this book." But the news about your own death, it's never the happy news. So when I said to this Chinese person, like, "Do you realize that this world will be end, and everything you have in this world will be end for you?" Then this person not said, "I have a very happy life." I said, "Now you have a very happy life, but it will be fine by the end." So the question is, when do you begin your spiritual life? There are many things you understand before you begin your journey to Krishna. But in reality, your spiritual journey becomes not from theoretical understanding, "Oh, I'm the eternal soul, and I'm part and parcel of Krishna, I'm always connected with Krishna, I can join with Krishna every time." That's like a positive news. But the real spiritual life begins from the moment when you answer yourself, well, if by my own power I could overcome Maya, I would do it a long time ago. If by my own power I could become perfect, I would be perfect yesterday, not today. Do you understand? So internally, in your heart, you have to submit to Krishna. And this is the beginning of your spiritual life. And this is called Sharanagati. Because in your heart, you have to offer yourself to Krishna. It has to be like between you and Krishna. Because everything else externally you do, it doesn't really matter so much, because that's where the true journey to the spiritual world. So now I'm finishing my lecture because I don't want to hold everybody very long. But I just want to say, like, another thing is everything positive being attracted by negative. But I want to ask a question. What if you're really negative? Because some people blame you for being bad, and like, "Oh, you're very bad." No, I'm very good. No, I know you're very bad. You're a pretender. Well, no, I'm not a pretender. I'm actually a very good person. I just look bad. Internally, I'm very good. No, I know you're not sincere spiritual person. No, I look not sincere. Actually, I'm very sincere. That's one stage, right? So normally, when somebody accuses you, and you're protecting yourself. But what if in the course of your realization, you really understand how screwed up you are? Somebody tell you, "I think you're sincere." And they say, no, I don't think I am. I think you're chanting Hare Krishna very nicely. No, I think whatever I chant, that's all offensive. "Oh, I think you're very nice devotee." You say, "Well, actually, I think everything I am is external and devotee. Internally, I'm just like worse than materialist. Because I'm trying to get the fame of a great devotee, but internally I'm keeping my material desires inside of my heart." So This is an amazing song which we just sung, Emana Durmati Samsara Vitara. This is not a very positive song. But you know, it's not a very positive song. But for some reason, our gurus would start from that. Gurudev would start from this particular song. And I thought before, how come he's such a great person, but he starts from such a song where telling, I'm not a very perfect person. Rather, I am the most unqualified person. And my own mind, that's like big trouble, really like a half crazy person, maybe absolutely crazy person. But there's one hope in that song, that I have got connection with devotees of Krishna and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so I have some hope. So the negative part is become positive when the still hope is there. So when devotees, do you understand? Devotee never think himself is a great person, but he still has some hope. Actually, devotee never believed in himself. He's always believed in some other devotees and Krishna. And when that internal feeling becomes truth, that's where the journey to Krishna begins. And this could be before initiation, after initiation, and this actually could be a repeatable sensation. But Krishna say a very interesting thing. Actually, Krishna say, he said, if someone is truly in his heart commit to me at least once, from that point I will accept that person, and he will be on my list. You understand? If in your heart, at least you commit to Krishna once, Krishna put your name in the list and say, okay, Lilavati, all right. And Lilavati say, I'm so great. Krishna say, okay, no problem. You're okay. So maybe after some time, that's so great. Oh, okay. We pull you inside and you say, I'm so great. Krishna, okay, let you string here. Like, fish. I'm so great. Krishna, okay, go. Oh, I'm not so great. Krishna, okay. So, Krishna is like expert fisherman, and he's fishing your heart. So for Krishna, as being ultimate positive, is necessity of negative, because when you're hankering some divine feelings, then when divine feelings will be supplied to you. It's just like food. The necessity of taking food is a hunger. There is no taste of food if you have no hunger. So therefore, it says, one of the best way to be associated with food, to see somebody eat with appetite. Like in China, I call myself Pamwart. You don't understand Pamwart? Pamwart? Pamwart. Pamwart. They don't give me food. I said, I'm a hungry Pamwart. Pamwart, oh, fat boy. So you understand? The taste food, food is taste according to your hunger. If you are sick, that means you have no taste of the food. But if you hunger, then even very simple food will be very, very tasteful. So in order to get some great food experience, you have to be hungry. So this is the art of Krishna consciousness. You have to become hungry. And you'll get hungry. There are different ways actually to become hungry in Krishna consciousness. But hunger means ability to appreciate some divine substance. This is all actually, I was very impressed because it's just like tea, Chinese tea. If somebody does not know what is Chinese tea, they'll sell you crap. But if you really understand something about Chinese tea, like and how do I understand about Chinese tea? I met someone like Lena, and she'll tell me, okay, this is the real pu'er, okay, this is the commercial one. This pu'er looks very good like real, but it's not such a taste. The real stuff has a real taste. So it's a very, very subtle process. And I spoke with Paramananda, because, see, we're so lucky because we all had Srila Govinda Maharaj Association. And because he was so divine and he would break all the stereotypes of spiritual understanding, by being in association with him, you get immediately understanding what is the real stuff. But while he's gone, you don't really have so much standard measure. Because with Govinda Maharaj, it was not about his ability to speak and represent things. That was not his powerful thing. He knew some very high spiritual concepts, but it was not about him. Like most people would understand about Govinda Maharaj, it's what he is, actually. It's not how he speaks or what he tells you. It was not like this. It was just coming to his connection with him and just being with him, experience him. And he experienced you and you experienced him. That was like very, very special thing, to be able to experience him. So unfortunately, Cham Mahatmas Durlabha, such souls are very rare, but it's like the best Chinese tea you can drink. It's so special. It gives you immediately an understanding of everything else, and you lose taste for other things. But when you don't have this fortune, then you have to come gradually. Do you understand? You have to come gradually. You have to have gradual realizations. That's why it says in scriptures, once you meet some great devotee, like super topmost devotee, you can have a very quick evolution. And you can cross beyond. But you see, like Goswami Maharaj, sometimes he tell you things, because he's listening every day. He tell you things those great devotees excited about. And you can understand, like very few people can understand. It's not nothing. But, so just imagine Srila Govinda Maharaj as being such a great, inconceivably divine spiritual person. He was constantly experiencing feeling of imperfection. He would see you as more perfect than him. Can you imagine that? You meeting somebody who constantly value you as much higher than him. And that was his true divine feeling. It wasn't, you can't generate that. So anyway, with this air, we stop this recording and chant Hare Krishna and be happy. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nishkananda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nishkananda Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Jai. 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 Jai.
Chinese devotees ki jai.
Jai.
Kazakhstanese devotees ki jai. Tomskanese devotees ki jai. Kyiv-Kanese devotees ki jai. Smolensk-Kanese devotees ki jai. All the devotees ki jai.
Very good.
Jai Srila Bhakti Maharaj.
Jai.
Sahadev Prabhu ki jai. Radharama Prabhu ki jai. So, what I want to do is, today I'm going to studio, but tomorrow, I think we need to have, my experience being in China, we need to have little class. We can do like every day, maybe before lunch, little Chinese program. Like, you can come and we can talk about spiritual things. Because some things need to be explained. And we can discuss some projects about China. That's what I like, because China is now, like, we've been